going to be interesting because I'm going to try to be a live coding chop developer. I didn't even know I was a chop developer until today. And I'm going to try to be a live coding chop developer, which I definitely have never tried before. So hi, I'm Matt, CEO and co-founder of Netlify. I started it about a decade ago to build a better web around the idea of if we could decouple the whole web front-end layer from all the back-end business logic, all these different APIs, we could build like one unifying platform that would really enable developers to create and unlock the power of the web and just reduce a lot of the friction of going from inspiration to URL. So I got this invite to hey, do you want to speak at this AI Dev Tools meetup? And I got some speaker instructions that said something about live coding. I was reading it fast, so I was like, yeah, I'll live code the whole thing. Planned a presentation, then I read the instruction again, and they were more like, be really careful if you live code and have backup and so on. But too late. So we'll see how this goes. And what we're going to live code is kind of like an infinite cyberspace to explore, right? Like the web is pretty magical, AI is pretty magical, and I want to combine the two. If any of you have played around with something like WebSim, you'll know where I'm sort of going with this. Who here has used the web in the 90s?
GeoCities.
Hey. GeoCities, here we go. Yeah, who remember this thing, right? Like, for those of us, we'll have fond memories of one of like the first places where you could actually go and you could put just some of your own stuff on a URL, like for free, and people could go see it, right? Like, and it had this special aesthetic of every random person putting random stuff on the web. And then it went away, you had to pay part and so on, right? Like, but now here in the era of AI and advanced dev tools, what if we could bring GeoCities back to life with the power of advanced AI? So that's what I'm going to try to do here over the next sort of 10-15 minutes as a chop developer. I've cheated a little and set up like a empty website on GeoSimCities.Netlify.app with a little Langbase key and an OpenAI key. We'll be using some of the tools you'll be hearing about. And I have like an empty, like I have prepared a little bit of scaffolding for this. Let me know if this is big enough on the screen. Yeah, I think it looks okay. So just setting up like an empty site. No front-end framework or anything like this. This is just a plain HTML file that's empty except for this little prompt I stored for myself so I could go in and ask Cody, hey, how about building me just an HTML page that looks like a browser with like a menu bar and an iframe. This looks pretty good. It has an address input. It has a menu bar. Good chop coding so far. Let's spin up Netlify.dev. This is just our local CLI command that you can always spin up a dev server. It doesn't care if there's a front-end framework, it'll detect it, spin up the right dev server. If there isn't, it'll just spin up a static server. In this case, it looks like we got a menu bar. We get a 4.4 in here because we're not actually loading anything. So let's figure out how we generate in here a GeoCities page that matches this URL, right? Like, and I'll start by just going in and creating a Netlify function. So Netlify has like the support for serverless functions. I'll ask Cody to scaffold a Netlify function. I'll just tell it to use the right API. Sometimes it gets that wrong. And here we go. It scaffolded me a little function. Hello from a Netlify function. I don't really want JSON in this case, right? Like we are doing GeoCities stuff, so also don't want this whole complex body here. Let's just strip that out and give back a plain hello. I need a little routing here, so I'm gonna just export a little config that says that the path for this should be GeoCities. Let's go see. Okay, hello from Netlify function. We have it wrapped up. Now, I want to get an AI model to start building GeoCity pages for this URL. And Amar, are you here? Like, I think over there, he'll like this part, right? Like, so you'll hear more about Langbase later, but it allows me to set up this concept of pipes, right? Like, a pipe is basically just like I get to create a prompt. In this case, it's just a prompt telling the model, like, imagine what would be on this URL if you were GeoCities, basically, right? Like, I can go in and I can pick which model to use and so on. And then Langbase basically gives me like an API endpoint for that specific prompt that I can easily call. It also gives me a little SDK that I can use to call this in an easier way from JavaScript. So we're gonna use that. I'm gonna import Langbase here. Let's get a pipe going. We start a new pipe, API key. Langbase API key, sounds good. Let's make TypeScript happy. And then let's get a stream here. Pipe stream text. And in this case, we want some messages. We want the first message to be from a user. And we want a content to just be the URL. Here we want to like first decode the URL component. We want to like, let's do some requests. URL stuff here, search, let's see what did it come up with. Like this, okay. Now the next part is that we kind of got to wrangle this stream to take, like the docs here will say, you've got to take this piece of the stream to actually get the content from each response. So let's, again, be a chop developer and say for each chunk of the stream, get and stream it as HTML to the browser. Let's see what it does. Okay.
I should have a little winky face when you accept.
Let's call this response stream. And let's put it in here. It all looks pretty right. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Something didn't like it. Let's see. Any syntax errors here? I don't see them so far. We definitely broke something. No, that should be fine. You can always just rewind it and kill again. Yeah, okay, you were totally right up here. It totally tried to treat it as an edge function. Good call, whoever caught it. Let's go again. Now we should be rocking.
Reticulating splines.
Yep. Let's see. Still not.
Ready.
Okay, your identifier. Okay, we should actually just look at the completes here. There we go. Okay, let's see if we finally get a GeoCity URL for my website. Here we go. This looks more promising. I think we're waiting for the stream. We can see, here we go. Welcome to Matthias Biilmann's cyberspace. Now, obviously, all the images, all the links are broken and so on. We first need to find a way to actually generate some images, and I made a little placeholder function here with a little prompt that I can, again, just chop into Cody and ask it to give me a little image generation function from OpenAI. Yes, this looks pretty promising. Yep, this looks good. Let's see if it actually did it. Yeah. Source graph image, right? Like, well, it still didn't solve the problem because like we have all broken URLs and so on, right? Like, so we need to process this HTML somehow to get the URLs to point the right places. And Netlify has this other feature called the edge functions, where normal serverless functions, they run in one region, they're good for like more compute heavy tasks and so on. Edge functions runs all around our global CDN, and they can do like transformations of the response context and so on. So again, we'll ask Cody here to do a little edge function for us, and basically say, take every A tag and every image tag and fix the URL, right? Like, and it's using the HTML rewriter from Cloudflare. It's just like getting the next response in the chain, basically just saying like this edge function is just gonna take the next response and then rewrite it, and all of this looks pretty good. Just again, gotta attach it to your path. Yeah, good guess. And let's see what happens. Here we go. Streaming live. Here we go. Good banner, good marquee banner. Yeah. And we'll probably see that, yeah, the links now are fixed. They link to the right places and so on, right? Like, one thing that's a pain is that every time I reload this, I get a completely new site, right? Like, so I can never share my GeoCity page with everyone, right? Like, that's a little sad, and it feels too GeoCity because like it also feels like a modem from like back then, right? Like, so let's try to use another little Netlify feature to fix that. So I'm gonna go in and say Netlify CDN cache control. Now this is just the standards header, right? Like, you can use cache control with any HTTP like with any HTTP request and response, and Netlify CDN just scopes that cache control, so it's only our CDN that picks it up, not the browser, not any intermediary CDN. And this just says cache it for a while, right? Like, now this doesn't really solve the problem because we have like CDN nodes all over the world, and each of them has their own cache, and it's an LRU cache. But we have a feature that we call durable cache, where I can just append this little word durable. And now when we serve this response, we'll actually like cache it in a central object store, and all misses from the edge will go there and fetch it first and so on, and it'll stick around until I invalidate specifically, right? Like, so let's do that both for this one and also for our image server. And then let's launch. Let's go live. So I'm gonna run Netlify deploy, and we're gonna deploy this to geosimcities.netlify.app, and we're gonna revive GeoCities with advanced AI and Netlify. Let's see, we are uploading some functions, some assets, waiting for go live. Let's see what happens here. Here we go. First generation, like the marquee. Welcome to Biilmann's page. Woohoo! Enjoy playing the guitar and so on. What do we get? Like, first of all, we'll see here. Let's see. I think it's still generating. Oh, there's a little image of me. That's nice. I like it. I might use that for my avatar, right? Like, and now we see it's cached, right? Like, so it sticks around if I do this. And we have like a fully, like, I can go explore my projects, for example, right? Like, and we'll start loading here. I can essentially type in any URL up here. Ooh. Jamstack Explorer, the static site generator, and a web performance analyzer. I like it. There's even a little guest book you can all sign. So that's pretty much it.
Oh,
it's cats. I like it. That's it. GeoCities, GeoSim Cities is live.